Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 3:30 p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. session of the 2025 Open Simulator Community Conference. In this session, we are pleased to introduce the presentation, The Teleportal, an interactive gateway of the Virtual Worlds Museum. Our speaker is Julian Reyes. Julian Reyes is the founder and director of the Virtual Worlds Museum, whose mission is to explore, preserve, and showcase the evolution of immersive worlds. In recognition of his contributions to the XR industry and digital preservation, Julian was awarded the ARIA Impact Award 2025, alongside Lisa Egger of Arrival Space. He has since been invited to serve as a juror for the ARIA Award 2026 and is a featured speaker at ImmersiveX. Julian's also held positions at Meta, Cisco Systems, and Exponent. Please check out the website found at conference.opensimulator.org for speaker bios, details of sessions, and the full schedule of events. The session's being live streamed and recorded, so if you have questions or comments during the session, you may send tweets to @OpenSimCC with the hashtag OSCC25. Welcome, everyone, and let's begin the session.
Thank you very much for inviting me to speak to Avacon and to the Open Simulator Community Conference. It's very nice to be back again. I want to explain a little bit more about the history of the Virtual Worlds Museum, some of the resources and research that went into creating it, and also showcasing the Teleportal, which is we're really excited to present. This all started with my desire to view the metaverse as a three-dimensional construct, almost like a constellation of planets. It never made any sense to me why it's in a spreadsheet or in a list, right? We're talking about three-dimensional entities. Why not them be able to be viewed in 3D? So I did a talk at AWE 2 years ago, and in that talk, I actually focused on mapping immersive worlds, and all of that work led for me to actually uncover more and more of these platforms. So I was lucky enough to get an awesome team together of advisors and volunteers, and we were able to begin our work of cultural digital heritage and preservation of these digital worlds by creating videos and creating events that celebrate virtual worlds um, culture. One of the recent events that I hosted was with Richard Bartle, who was the author of Designing Virtual Worlds. He wrote this like 20 years ago, and he then since has uh, created another edition, which just became live, and he's that was volume one, and he's actually doing volume two. And with the help of the OMI group, I was able to start a GitHub page. So if you were to search Virtual Worlds Museum, you can see some of our initial research there. And what struck me in all of my reading of Virtual Worlds is that there were others that came before me, and I would call them like the predecessors of the work. If you can see at the bottom left, Bruce Dahmer was doing work on avatars. He wrote a book called Avatars, and he actually had a website that celebrated those first worlds in the 90s. Then the Library of Congress created a research report with the help of Henry Lowood of Stanford, and I got to speak to Henry, and he's giving us a lot of love for our work in and Ryan Schultz, I have to mention, he was actually one of the main inspirations for some of the way to like understand these technologies. And you have Nick over at K Zero out of the UK who was doing a lot of this research as well. So I wanted to make sure to mention them because their work precedes our research efforts. Another organization I really want to mention is the XR Guild. I'm part of this group of professionals that we are dedicated in ethics, and our mission is to support all the professionals that in making more ethical products through the networking, because sometimes the big corporations and the big companies are so focused on ROI and market share that they don't lean into the ethics side of it. So what we do is we created a place for these professionals on their own time to come and volunteer at the XR Guild, and we've created a library where we've categorized 10 different topics in ethics, and those include AI ethics, current peer-reviewed works, ethical responsibility. We have a great link for XR industry news. So if you want to find out conferences like these or conferences in ethics, that's where you will find neurotechnology, mind control and privacy, physiological and psychological effects of our privacy and policies, and security and safety. So the XR Guild's mission is really important as far as advancing ethics in XR. So I just want to make sure you guys look into that if you haven't already, and you can easily become a member. There's no charge, but you can donate your time and join one of the tracks. And I am the co-lead for the library track, but there events, mentorship, and so forth. To speak more about the Virtual Worlds Museum, we are focused on education, preservation, and partnerships, and showcasing virtual worlds. We've won a couple of awards and that we're very proud of and happy and honored, because there hasn't been an organization that has had this type of reach in all of the different virtual worlds, because most of the platforms, they're trying to make it in and survive in such a competitive landscape. And that's why I created this organization, that it's not really driven by selling of any products, or is driven by ROI, and it's really a work of love, and the people that have uh, contributed to it really kind of follows that ethos of preparing us for the future of the 3D web, right? At the beginning of the internet, at the very beginning, you had like 9 websites, and then websites, and then it went to millions of websites. And I feel that we're at that juncture, right? We're at that juncture where AI prompted worlds and other technologies will democratize the way that the everyday person can build worlds, and then you won't have the friction of knowing Unity or Blender. You can actually just um, what my thesis is like, let's put a marker on the ground, catalog all of the different platforms that exist, and prepare for the worlds of the future. Prepare for the onslaught of the 3D web, and I want to like make sure that we're also being very careful and intentional about how we hold these new platforms accountable. We don't want to repeat the mistakes of social media. Social media has brought us a lot of negative aspects as well as some good ones. But if you look at the overall mechanism, I don't think people really understand the amount of control and misinformation. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we should kind of make sure and help guide the 3D companies of the future, right? Because these devices, the moment that you put them on your HMDs, they really track a lot more than just your computer footprint, right? There's a lot of more intimate information that we should be aware of. Another way that we catalog virtual worlds is through creating hubs in all of the different platforms. We have an amazing hub in Roblox. That's actually the history of Roblox museum. So when you're in the experience, you can actually teleport into different mini worlds that show you the starter packs that Roblox used to create in those years. So it's almost like literally going through a time machine. And then we also have other museum hubs. We just created an amazing space in RP1, and they're about to do a relaunch next week. So I would really watch out for them because they are positioning themselves as the metaverse browser of the future. And you're able to actually host your own server in your 3D worlds through RP1. We have a build in Horizon Worlds that I feel in the future, if Meta works with us, we would be able to utilize deep app linking to uh, create interoperable portals. And through my work with Meta Traversal and Ivo Heining and Ben Irwin, we have been testing this for many years, which is actually traversing from world to world. And we've already proven interoperable portals between Engage VR into multiverse, into Roblox VR, all seamless. And that's just proof that even though these wall gardens are very guarded, there are ways to be able to traverse with portaling. This is the crux of our work is the exhibit matrix that I created in order to organize virtual worlds into 7 different exhibits. The reason the last exhibit doesn't have a number is because it exists outside of our mapping for the time, because these are worlds of the past. These are extinct worlds. But we have the most comprehensive and largest list of these worlds on the internet. And we actually include their beginning year and their ending year. To further explain our exhibit, the WebXR and Web exhibit, these are worlds that all you need is a browser in order to navigate. The VR and apps exhibits are all of your really popular worlds that you need to download something to your computer and to your device. The games worlds are all the game oriented platforms. The specialized exhibit is the bulk of our worlds, which is your education worlds, your um, corporate worlds, your meeting platforms, your kids, your training, your simulations. And the open source exhibit, we've actually has expanded it greatly with more research for the open simulator community. Before we had open simulator just as a platform, but what Steve Van Loon and myself have done is we've actually mapped over 120 different hypergrids. So the teleportal now includes ways to find these hypergrids. And the last one is the blockchain exhibit, which was the most difficult to map. But we actually went in and obtained wallets and went into all of these worlds to verify which are the ones that are valid for categorization. And with that, I want to show you the teleportal, but keep in mind that all of the data that goes into this 3D force graph came from this categorization strategy, right? And the beauty of it is that if a world becomes extinct, then it's moved to the sunset exhibit. If it becomes blockchain, then it moves to blockchain. It has the ability to be modular. So no matter where the world, what happens to the world's technology, it actually can be mapped. And of course, some worlds could fit into several categories, but this is just the best way that I found to be able to categorize the worlds and also to showcase them in 3 dimensions. And with that, I want to show you the teleportal video, and I will return right after you see it. And just understand that we're also doing an immersive version. So, 2-minute video. As previously mentioned, the virtual world exhibit platforms can be found in the teleportal. We have categorized all of the platforms into 7 different exhibits: WebXR, games, VR and apps, specialized, and so forth. The worlds are actually clickable, so you can go into the platform and navigate it easily. So it's not only a map, but it's also a way to navigate the metaverse. With the help of Stephen Van Loon, we have created the open sim worlds that you can navigate to and be able to find within the open source exhibit. The teleportal allows you to move around and find the different worlds. We have a search feature where you can type in the name of a world. All of the different platforms gray out, and the colored platform is the one that you search and you can navigate to. Additionally, the teleportal features the Virtual Worlds Museum as the middle node and all of the different exhibits that are connected to it. I will refresh and see the force graph materialize and show the different worlds. You can even go into WebXR worlds with complete interoperability. So, for example, with Frame VR, you navigate directly into the world and you are traversing through a virtual world automatically, thus showcasing complete interoperability. We are building a immersive version in Unity, and we also plan to transfer a version of this to the Apple Vision Pro. We welcome the support from this community to make the teleportal happen. This is version 1, and we're excited to work on version 2 with you and welcome your input. You can find us at virtualworlds.museum. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, if there is a live version of the teleportal on our website. So if you go to virtualworlds.museum, so instead of .com or .org, virtualworlds.museum, you will see the teleportal. And also, we have gathered a list of books about the metaverse. We have panels and use cases. We have a lot of resources that you can utilize to further your research. We also offer uh, we also offer a sponsorship packages where if a sponsor helps us create the exhibit, I've want to offer not only name placement for the exhibit, but what we want to do is create a subworld with the timeline of the company's history. So any sponsor that works with us will actually have a world developed by the Virtual Worlds Museum, and we are open for volunteers to come be a part of our work. A lot of the future research is around being able to preserve these worlds with AI, because with images and videos, we can utilize generative AI to create either sky that people can visit. And that's another way for us to lean on the ethical practices of AI. We don't want to utilize the new technology very frivolously. We are also very focused on AI agent, creating a docent. So when you come into the Virtual Worlds Museum, you would have an agent that explains to you everything about the different virtual worlds. And we're continuing to build in different platforms. And when the teleportal is immersive, it will be in the Meta Quest. We're working on an Apple Vision Pro version and a web app. So thank you very much for your time, and we welcome any contributors and volunteers to come work with us. It has been a pleasure to share more of our work, and I look forward to continuing to help map the open simulator community in the teleportal in the best way possible. So we're always looking for collaboration. And thanks again.
Thank you, Julian Reyes, for an informative and interesting presentation. As a reminder to our audience, you will want to check out conference.opensimulator.org to see what is coming up on the conference schedule. You won't want to miss our next session that'll begin at 4 p.m. in this keynote region, entitled Amplifying Medical Lab Voices, celebrating 50th anniversary for ASCP certification in medical laboratory science. Also, We encourage you to visit the OSCC 25 Poster Expo in the OSCC Expo 3 region to find accompanying information on presentations and explore the Hypergrid Tour resources in OSCC Expo 2 region, along with sponsor and crowdfunder booths located throughout all of the OSCC Expo regions. Thank you again to our speakers and our audience.